What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Soul Toucha the Poet back with another video. It's been a minute, been busy, school, work, you know, all that adulting life. Um, this is what I want to talk to y'all about today. Data privacy. Not in the sense that you may be thinking, I don't know what you're thinking. All right, let's just start right there. But let's talk about data security as it pertains to your cell phone. Now, there is this ongoing debate about Android versus iPhone, and depending on what you like, that's like a dead argument, in my opinion. It's just a dead argument. And I say that because both phones, regardless of the built-in security features or whatever third-party security features that you can add afterwards, is irrelevant if you do not practice good security measures on your own. Now, here's the thing. With Apple, off the jump, just right out the box, Apple has probably the best security features as far as mobile phones are concerned. Android less, because, and I say this because Apple is kind of closed source and Android is open source. And I know a lot of people who use Android who are more prone to use Android devices because of that customization feature. But when you're looking at it from a data security point of view, there are shortfalls with that. And I say that because, again, with Apple, security's built in, it's closed, they manage that. With Android, the thing about Android phones or devices is that unless you are a tech person, it's kind of irrelevant. And then that goes further into the Android versus iPhone battle, dispute, whatever you want to call it. Because I know a lot of people who are just Android for whatever reason, and that's cool if that's what you like. I don't really like Android because of the bad experience that I had with it. And to be fair, there are a lot of people who don't like Apple devices because of a bad experience that they had. But when you look at what they're complaining about, it's like that's not even a good argument, because it's like, if you're talking about, oh, you got to pay for everything Apple, and it's like, well, what are you doing on your phone that you're actually paying for? And when I ask that question, it's like, literally, what are you doing on your phone that you have to pay for? You already paying for the service. Whatever apps that you choose to pay for that are paid apps, you do that freely. And from what I understand now, with Android phones, you cannot add an SD card for it. So there's that argument is gone, because if you want more storage, you're paying for more storage. That was one feature that I did like about Android phones, was with the storage. Like, you can get a 128 gig phone and get a 512 gigabyte SD card. Terabyte, whatever. You know what I mean. But getting back to the topic, when you make the comparison of the built-in security features and the aftermarket things of that nature, one thing that you have to realize is that these aftermarket security features are a little deceiving, to say the least. And I say that because, they offer, a lot of them offer like 3 plans. You got the basic plan, the whatever plan, and the platinum plan. Let's just say bronze, silver, gold, or gold, silver, platinum, or You know what I mean. Now, the basic plan will have a couple of features, but then you look at the middle plan that has a little more features for a couple of dollars more, and then you be like, oh, well, that's a better value because this one is, whatever. And then you got the top of the top tier plan that has all the goodies that look and sound good. But then you have to look at, are these features already built into my phone? Do I really need to buy those extra features or not? Now, let's get to the bigger issue with data security as it pertains to your cell phone. The one thing that people complain about is, I don't want the government to have all my information. I don't want these corporations to have all my information. I don't want people to be able to get my information, this, that, and the other. But the one thing that a lot of y'all fail to realize is the moment you download an app, you're giving away your information. Simple as that. It could be social media. It could be rewards plans. It could be maps. It could be games. It could be whatever. Whatever. It just does not matter. And a lot of people, for whatever reason, do not understand that, or they overlook it. That's a better way to put it. They just overlook this. And it's like, you can't overlook that, because these are things that you choose to give your information to by choice. Now, as I'm thinking about this, you got two choices. You either pay to give your information away, or you give it away for free. And when I say pay to give your information away, like, you may download certain apps that require a subscription or a one-time payment, and they have access to your information. A lot of us don't read all that fine print, or when you download the app and the permissions that it has on your phone, a lot of people don't look at that. They just click, accept, download the app, log into the app, whatever, boom, there it is. Now, keep in mind that, let's just say you log into social media, it's going to ask you for access to your contacts. Some say yes, some say no. Some say yes because it's easier to find friends, or whatever the case may be. But again, you're giving these apps access to your privacy, your data, and all of that stuff. So once they have all of that, we all know that data brokers collect your data, resell it, use it to track your spending, track your whereabouts, track your web browsing habits, and all of that. That's just there. That's what they're doing. More recently, when you go into grocery stores and stuff like that, if you download those apps and you connect to their Wi-Fi or whatever the case may be, things are shifting, faster than we can keep up with. But when you're in the store, they are tracking you either with the app or if you connect to the Wi-Fi. They're tracking your movements, your habits, your tendencies, and this, that, and the other. A lot of us use Google Maps, Waze, Apple Maps, and whatever other maps is out there. And I know for me, not only do I save certain locations that I've been to, you also have to look at the pictures that you take. If you have geotagging and all of that on there. Now, for those of you that use Google Maps, either open up your, I know I'm speaking for iPhone. You might be the same on Android phones, but open up your Photos app and go to the location section, and you see your locations pop up on the map, how many pictures you've taken in that location, the dates that you took them. It can be down to the precise location. Do the same thing with your Google Maps app. I don't know if Waze, I don't use Waze too much. I don't use Apple Maps too much, but I know in Google Maps, when you go in there, You can see all the places that you've been and, favorite places and all of that. So again, it's all about them tracking your data. Let's just say you have the fuel rewards app for BP, Shell, Exxon, Mobil, Wawa. What else? What else is out there? You got Sheets. You got it's so many out there that offer rewards plans. You have to realize when you use your rewards app in these different locations, they're tracking your data. They're tracking where you go. So when you have this thing or this mood or this temperament or this attitude about being tracked via your cell phone, you have to keep that in mind. You freely gave your information away. So it's no longer about Android versus Apple or Android versus iPhone. That debate is gone. It's just gone, all the way gone. And you have to take into consideration that you freely gave your information away. The other thing that I wanted to mention was, and I'm kind of drawing a blank here. I just had the thought in my brain and I lost it. But overall, you have to. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. And now you have different organizations and corporations who are working in conjunction with government agencies to collect your data and track you. Palantir is out there. That's one of them I recently saw in the news. So they're doing all of that, and they're saying that it's for one thing, but when you pull back the layers of the onion, you see what it's really about. It's about tracking you as an individual. It goes beyond your spending habits, your travel habits, your shopping habits. I said travel, right? Your web browsing habits, and it goes way beyond all those tendencies. So the Android versus iPhone debate is, it's kind of dying. And if you are still out there debating about what's better for data protection or usability and anything like that, and you're still having this battle about Android versus iPhone, you need to stop. Like, you seriously need to stop, because we are way beyond that now. I don't see it changing. And I say I don't see it changing because our elected officials are, being positioned to allow these things to go forward. Now, the caveat is this is nothing new. It's nothing new. This has been going on for decades. It's just more sophisticated now that we have, AI and, the infrastructure or the methodology to track all of this information. Data brokers have been around for years and years, buying and selling your information. How do you think you get these weird things in the mail? If you still, if you're still getting these things in the mail, or if you're getting all these advertisements and stuff in your email. Again, all of your online activity is being tracked. Computers, phones, tablets, whatever. Even, if you have a smartwatch on, you sign up into these apps and you have permissions to check your health data and all this other stuff. All your stuff is being tracked. Now, could this be done in a fashion that is a benefit to the everyday citizen of the country or even the world? Yes, it probably could be. But you still have to take into consideration that your data is being collected and not always in your best interest. But again, a lot of times you give this away. Even look at when you get a passport, driver's license, you sign up for pre-check, clear, global entry, medical benefits, all of this stuff. All your data is being collected now. I would be curious. I would be very curious if it was possible to get a copy of all of the data that is being collected on me. Like, I would be curious if everyone's data that is being collected, if they can get a download copy of the data that has been collected, let's just say for a month, to be reasonable. Let's just say a month, because we are online pretty much every day of the month. I would be curious to see how much data is collected on, me, or, for anybody. I'd be curious about what is collected in a month's time. Because just keep in mind, like, every time you tap your debit card or pay for something online, just think, you're being tracked. You're being tracked. So yeah, I'd be curious as to how much data is actually being collected. Like, how many different databases is it in? We already know it's in Google. We already know it's in Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Explorer, Firefox, all Safari. Just think of all the places that you share your data. Just think of that. And not, let's not even leave out the credit reporting agencies. Experian, I can't even remember all three of them right now. That's a shame, because I just applied for credit not recently, but but yeah, just think about that. And you would think that your data is secure in one place. And I know I'm going away from the original topic of this with the Android versus iPhone thing, but it's all connected, because if you use your phone for all this other stuff, how many of you have the credit bureau apps on your phone? How many of you have your financial institution apps on your phone? Your data is right there. It's all there. And here's the crazy thing, with these different types of phishing efforts, your data is at more risk than anything. Like the text message phishing thing scams, the email scams, the phone call scams, they are all out there. The last few days or weeks or whatever, I've seen app after app. I mean, not app after app. Several videos that talk about all of this stuff. So, to close this out, the Android versus iPhone debate is done when it comes to security and data privacy. It's just done. You have to be vigilant in what you do on your devices, regardless if it's Android or iPhone, and act accordingly. You probably won't delete all those apps that you have on there. And you probably have apps on there that you're not even using that are still collecting data. I know I do. But do I want to go through hundreds of apps and delete the ones I haven't used? Probably not. It's probably not even worth my energy. Well, let me rephrase that. I probably don't have the patience to do it. However, it's important. But anyway, Soul Touch the Poet here. I will catch y'all in the next video. Peace.